Hello, it's Mrs. Bailey again today with another fabulous art lesson. We're going to be using something a little bit different, masking tape. Now, if you don't have masking tape, any other tape is okay as long as it's not over sticky. Now, you're going to need a slightly thicker paintbrush today. This one is also okay. You just don't want anything that's too thin and spindly like that. To start with, you could have a practice run in your sketchbook, or you might just want to work on a bigger piece straight away. So what you're going to need is you'll need to, on your large sheet of paper or in your sketchbook, you're going to need to use the masking tape to create some really lovely 2D geometric shapes on your page. So there is no plan. I'm just sticking these on where I think it will look interesting. So you're just making some lovely shapes. There's no sort of pre-design. I've not really thought about it. I'm just going to do what I think looks best. So an interesting array of shapes. So I might do that one there. Nice thing is, if you're using masking tape, it just tears. You don't have to use the scissors to cut it off. And don't worry about these bits that dangle over the edges of your page. It doesn't matter. Oh, where shall I put that one? I quite like that triangle, so I don't really want to block that one. I might, it might be nice to come in from another angle somewhere. So, yeah, I might do something like that on that one. So just pat it down. You can go over it and secure it all at the end. See, the good thing about masking tape is when you pull it off later, which is what you're going to do, you have to be really careful how you do this, but it should come off without sort of really tearing the page. So, but you do have to be careful when you pull it off. Right, there's a big area there and there's a big area there, but I'm a bit, I don't want to lose that triangle because I really like it. So I could just stick a bit there. That's what I mean, it's quite versatile. And I would like something going across there. So I'm going to rip off a bit there and stick. Yeah, I quite like that. I think I'm done. I think that will be okay. Now, so I've prepped my paper now. The next thing to do is I have chosen some blue colours. Now, I know that when I squirted them from different tubes, there are some colours that are very alike. So I've put some white on my mixing plate, and I've also got a bit of grey. It's got a bit of glitter in it, so that might be exciting. So I might mix in to some other colours just to make some slightly lighter shades. I could also use black just to make some darker shades of blue. So again, this is a bit of an experiment with colour. You don't have to use the same colour. You can use different colours. It does look really beautiful, different colours on here. It just depends really what's available in school. So you might be limited to what's available in the classroom, but whatever you do, whichever colour theme or, you know, colours that you choose, it's going to look fantastic. So don't panic about it at this stage. So what I'm going to do to start with is I will need to just wet my brush. Okay. Now, if you think it's too wet, don't forget you can use your trusted paper towel just to take off excess water. But I am going to start with one of these colours. Now, the colour that I really, really like, I think, is this one. So I'm just going to mix in a bit of water and then test it. So I'm going for this big triangle in the middle, and it's, yeah, I might have put a bit too much water on there, but that's okay because I can go over it now. You're probably already getting the idea that the masking tape is supposed to block the colour from certain areas, so that when you take the masking tape off, you should end up with these lovely white lines, but we'll see. Okay, yeah, quite like that colour. It's really lovely. Now I'm hoping that the paint doesn't bleed underneath the masking tape. So I think we're going to have to keep these colours quite thick, really. Now let's see. It's all about choices. Which colour am I going to have there? Now, if you want to, instead of doing a colour theme or using different colours, you can actually paint the background all one colour. And then I'm going to show you what you could do after that. So this is entirely up to you. Either a colour theme, different colours, or the whole background the same colour. Because what we're going to do is, when this is dried off a bit, we're going to drizzle some paint over it, so it creates a really lovely effect. So this is where the choice bit gets a bit tricky, because I can never make up my mind what I want to do. So I'm just mixing up with that white. I haven't even put my brush in water yet. I don't think I need to, because I want to keep the paint quite thick. I'm just making a lighter blue, and I'm going to stick this light blue in here. Oh, that's nice. It's quite lovely, actually. So again, I'm keeping the paint quite thick. And you know, with this, it doesn't matter if you've got brush marks on it. Just go with it. Trust yourself. Go with the flow. I haven't got a clue how this is going to turn out. I really don't know. I'm just going with the flow. Quite like the dark. I think a nice dark area would look good somewhere. Maybe the dark against the light one. Let's try that. So again, I'm not bothering to really wash my brush yet. It's all blue. If you're using different colours, then you might want to obviously wash your brush, because you've got different colours. But if it's a colour theme, so you're using all yellows or blues or reds, you don't necessarily have to keep washing your brush. A bit like lazy painting. Quite like that. Hopefully you've got some nice music on in the background. I haven't. Should do, really. Right, so that's looking quite nice, actually. I've got this light blue. Now, I would like that light blue to stay that light blue colour, so I probably will clean my brush now. So I'm going to clean it in the water, then get my best friend, the paper towel, just to take that excess water off. So just to take a bit of that, can you see, excess water off, just so that I'm not sort of making my paints too runny, because I think probably keeping it thick, the paint nice and thick, will be the best thing to do. So this lovely blue, that's going in there, so nice and thick. I'm just worried if the paint's too thin, it will bleed, start to bleed and go under the masking tape, but we'll soon see, because it might have done that on that first one. But yeah, we'll wait and see. We're not going to panic about it now. Right, I'm glad I've chosen blue, because blue's not really my colour. I'm a purple girl, as people who know me know I love purple. But these blues are looking quite good. So, what happens if I put, oh, a nice dark one there. So I might mix a tiny bit of the white. Now that colour is very similar to that, so let's make a new colour out of it. Let's just, it's quite fun because you get to experiment as well, so that's quite nice. That one I've just made there, oh lovely, glad I did that. Right, that's going to be in here. Now this one, because it's gone off the edge of my sketchbook, is not really a proper shape. It's quite nice because it's a maths lesson as well. We're making 2D shapes. And depending on how many sides they've got, depends on what names they are. So we might be able to name our shapes later that we've made. Really lovely. Right, okay. That was quite a nice colour, so that's a bit of an experiment. Let's experiment with a different shade now. I like that blue, but I might see what happens when I mix a little bit of dark blue in with that lovely light blue. So again, we've got a different shade here. It's quite nice. I'm going here with this one. So again, they're all different shades. It's really lovely. How many blues can I make? Wow. Right, so hardly any water's going on here, which also means hopefully I've not made any mess anywhere. Okay, right, decisions. Oh, nice dark blue in there would be good. So again, I'm not even going to bother washing my paintbrush. I'm just going to, whatever blues I get, I don't know, whatever happens. I'm not going to plan it now. I'm just going to keep creating different shades of blue and just put them in. It's great when art's like this, when you've not pre-planned it. Now, you might have noticed I've not used this grey. It's got a bit of a sparkle in it, this paint here. So, really nice to keep it a light colour. I'm not sure where it's going to go yet. Maybe it could come over here. So, what am I going to mix with it? What about this fabulous blue here? It's very similar to that. I think it's virtually the same colour, isn't it? Let's mix that in. What happens? Oh, there's a bit of dark blue in there as well. Is it going to change? Let's mix a bit more in. Mix a bit more in. Don't know how different it's going to be. Let's try it. I might try it over here because I'm not sure how different it is from that one there. So if I move it away a bit. Don't forget as well, if there's an area that you don't like, just paint over it. Really. Nobody knows you've not liked it. It's a good thing with painting. You just say, yeah, I planned that all along. If you make mistakes, you can pretend they've never happened. It's great. So, one over there. Okay. Oh, it's looking quite nice. Right, now I am going to wash my paintbrush because I think it's going to be very samey. Not really a word, but it works. So, in my water, just keep checking it just to make sure you've got a lot of the blue out. Now, obviously, if you are doing different colours, you will have to keep washing your paintbrush. Then take the excess water off again on your paper towel. And I think I need something light in this area, so I'm going to take some of this white and I'm going to mix it in with a bit of that blue and get a nice light blue. This is quite pearly, this paint, so I've got a nice light pearly blue, and that's going in there. Oh, that's lovely. It's quite grey. Really lovely. Okay, look how light that is. That's really gorgeous. Now, I don't have to keep making different colours of blue. It's quite interesting though to see what you end up with. But I think here, oh, what shall I put? Maybe I like that light one, but I don't know if that's too near. I feel like it should be quite a dark one, so I might just wash that again. Just take off the excess water, and I'm going to go for quite a dark one in there. So let's have some of this paint, really dark. Splosh it on. That's really nice, love that. Same as that one, isn't it? Right, okay. I I feel like a nice light one would look good in there. So again, if I want a light one, I'm going to have to wash my paintbrush again. Get some of that colour off. Just take the excess water off again. And let's go for something light. So I've got this going on in the middle, so I'm going to mix that white in with that light blue to see if I can get something paler. Don't know how pale it's going to be, but well, doesn't matter. Whatever happens, happens. It's that kind of painting. Whatever happens, happens in this painting. That's going to go there. And don't forget, if you don't like it, you can always paint over it. All right. Okay, yeah, that's nice. So if I wanted it, if I thought it was too alike, I could just move a bit of the darker blue in and make it slightly darker, and then go over like that. That's it. Yeah. Right. Okay. Ooh. That colour's lovely. So I'm not going to clean my paintbrush for that one. I'm just going to grab some of that colour, and then that's going in there. It's got some glitter in it, this one. Quite nice. But again, it depends what you've got at school. You do this at home. Be quite nice to do one at home, wouldn't it? In a different colour. Right, okay. My masking tape hasn't gone. I've just noticed my masking tape hasn't gone all the way to the edge of my book, so I'll pretend it has. So I'll be very careful when I paint that one. Right, I'm going for that colour, but I'm just going to, I've got quite a lot of paint on my brush actually. So I'm just going to clean my brush again. And again, take the water off of it. Go for this colour. I quite like that one. Quite nice. That's going in there. Now, because I've missed off the edge of that masking tape, I don't know if you can see that. I'm just going to pretend it's there. So I'm just going to do that. No one I know. It's my painting. No one I know. Doesn't matter. Right. Okay, now I haven't got much more to do. I've just got the areas over here to do. So I love this blue. It's gorgeous. It's like a peacock blue. I just love it. So I'm going to splodge some paint over here. Okay. Oh, I think a dark one's needed. I'm going to do a dark one there, but I'm not going to bother cleaning my paintbrush. So I'm just going to stick it straight in there, mix it all around. Don't think it's going to lighten my dark colour too much. So the dark ones go in there. I think I might need a lighter one, so I'm going to clean that brush again. Take the water off again. And let's have a look. I'm running out of colours now, and I don't really want to use any new ones because I just don't want to waste the paint that's already on here. So the sparkly one, let's use up some of that. That can go here. They're not really big areas that are left. So let's try and get as much on there as possible. That's it, lovely. And then I've just got 2 areas to do, so I think I'm actually going to take some of that paint off in my paper towel. then I might do a bit of mixing. Right, okay, let's see what I end up with. So let's mix that and that together, see what we'll get. And then I'm going to, oh, there's a bit of white in there. Right, that's going in that little bit there. And then I need just a bit there. So what have I got left? Let's just do a big mix. Right, whoa, see what we end up with. Lots of white in there. Mix it in with that shade as well. It's quite fun. That's quite a nice colour, isn't it? That's going in there. All right. Okay, now I think I've covered all my areas. Let's just check. Yes, it's all covered. Right, I should let that dry a little bit. Obviously, because I'm in the middle of doing a lesson, I'm not going to have time to leave it to dry for a little while. So I'm going to go on to the next stage. Now, this is where the fun starts. So make sure you are definitely wearing an apron, and just remember that you don't need to go mad with this next bit we're going to do, because what I've done is I've got a paper cup, a plastic cup. It's not a paper cup, it's a plastic cup, and I've made a very watery purple. Okay, so I've got a bit of paint in there. I put a little bit of water in there. You don't need loads and loads of this, you just need a very small amount of paint. And I've got two colours, so I've chosen to do purple, and I've got black as well. And I'm going to show you how runny this needs to be. So on a spare page, I've just tried this out in my sketchbook before doing it on my actual painting. So for the purpose of the camera, you wouldn't really sit this on your sketchbook, hopefully. The consistency of the paint just needs to be where it's a bit drippy. And what you're going to do in a minute is you're going to flick paint. If you want to, you don't have to do this, but if you want to, you're going to flick some paint onto your piece of artwork that you've just prepared. So I've just chosen these two colours, but of course it depends on what you've got available. Right, so let's do it on the proper one. So on here, now when you flick, you've got to be very careful. You don't need to be too hard with this. So again, we don't know what we're going to end up with, but so if you hold your paintbrush over your cup and then just give it a flick, a little flick. Okay, so looks quite nice. Then do another one. Okay. And just its little flicks and splodges. You should not be getting this over yourself. You might do a little bit, that's why you're wearing an apron, but it shouldn't be going over anybody else in the classroom. Okay, so careful, don't go too mad with it. And of course you don't have to do this to your artwork. I just thought it gave it another sort of interesting look. Okay, now that's the purple. I'm going to just use a little bit of black as well. So now I said we'd be pouring it. Your teacher's probably thinking, thank goodness she didn't actually mean pouring the whole cup over it. It's just careful splatters of paint. Okay, right, I'm not going to go too mad with this. Obviously, if you wanted to create, I don't know if this is still wet enough, but you can slightly tip. Now, this is probably best to try out. It depends how runny your paint is, but you can slightly tip it a bit. I'm not going to do that with my one because I'm quite happy with how it looks. Now, the really important thing here now is to let this dry. because if we start to peel the masking tape off now, the paint's going to run everywhere. I think it's going to look better if we let it dry and then take the tape off when it's dry. So we'll come back to this in a moment when it's dried off a bit, because it's just a bit too runny to move the masking tape at the moment. Okay. So the paint is almost dry. It's not completely dry, but enough so that it shouldn't run anywhere. So I've left it for about half an hour. And I'm going to start peeling off the masking tape. Now you need to do this really carefully, so very slowly. Don't just rip it off like you would a plaster on your cut knee, just very slowly. So otherwise you'll start to tear the paper. We're trying not to do that. So you can see that it's leaving behind those lovely white lines. Okay, now if they're a bit wet, you're just going to have to crumple them up and just put them on your table. So, you know, just be aware that they will be a bit wet, so you will get a bit of paint on your hands. And gently, I'm peeling it away from me because I just feel like it's a bit easier. So really steadily, carefully. You don't want to rip the paper, so don't do it too fast. Okay, it's quite nice. See, I'm getting paint on my fingers, so just be careful. You might want to leave it until the next day, it's up to you. Depends how much time you've got. It's a bit tricky when they start to meet in the middle, so I might need to pull that one that way. It's really carefully. That's it. Take your time. This is your brilliant artwork underneath. That's looking good. That's it, carefully. It's quite fun doing this bit. And of course, be very careful if you get paint on your fingers. You don't want that paint then going all over your work. So you might need to just have a paper towel handy just to keep wiping your hands on. So steady. It's looking good. It's worked quite well actually. So I think keeping the paint fairly thick has helped. Right, I'm going to need to try and go this way. Yeah. Really careful. This one's quite tricky to get off, this one. Some of my paint's a little bit wet there, so just taking time and care to take it off. This bit's gone a bit wobbly there. It doesn't matter. So we're getting there. Some of your lines are slightly wobbly. Doesn't matter at all. That's great. So depending on where you've crossed your tape, depending on how far you can rip it, because that one's gone over the top, so really I should have done that one first. So really careful. So, getting there, not much more to go now. do that one, I think, next. I mean, obviously, if it gets a bit tricky, just slow down. The slower you get, the more control you have of taking it off. I'm noticing that sometimes a little bit goes sort of off underneath the sides, but just keep it slow and controlled. So that one was a bit tricky there. Oops, got a bit of paint on my finger, need to wipe that off. So really, really careful. It's funny because some bits are easier to get off than others. I better slow down. It's quite relaxing doing this. Quite like the bit where it's gone a bit wobbly. That's quite nice, a bit rustic. Nothing wrong with a bit rustic, where it's gone a bit slightly shabby. It's lovely, still looks good. So this one's easy to get off. I shouldn't really speak too soon. You know it's going to be a disaster now I've said that. No, no, keep going, keep going, keep going. Right, look at that. Okay, so I'm going to turn it round the other way so that you're seeing it my way. Okay, now that's my first go at doing this, to be completely honest. I've not done any one of these, and it is still a bit wet, so I've got to be careful. But look, it looks really good, and yes, it is a bit wobbly in some places, but really, does that matter? It doesn't, does it? The effect is really, really very good. So it'd be lovely to see how yours sort of looks. You know, you might have done one that's all different colours. You might not have decided to splatter it. You might have chosen a colour and different shades of that one colour. It's up to you. There are so many different ways you could do this. But look at that. So what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to photograph it, put it into an app and put a frame around it so it looks like a piece of artwork that's been stored in a gallery. So have fun, and hopefully I'll see some photographs of what yours looks like as well. Okay,